Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Copera. I teach drama. I'm going to give you some memorization tips, okay? Memorization tips. Wow, gosh, memorization, that is the hardest thing, I think, with being in drama for high schoolers. Miss, do I have to memorize? Miss, do I have to memorize? My answer is yes, you do. And here are some memorization tips. You're going to repeat them after me. So, first of all, make sure you're standing, and you're going to film yourself saying the memorization tips. Okay, here we go. So stand up, back straight. Memorization tip number 1 line at a time. So when you're memorizing text, just memorize one sentence at a time. Don't try to remember the entire thing all at once. So, for example, your first line is to be or not to be. Famous sonnet, I just thought of it. You would repeat it again and again, one line at a time. To be or not to be. 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 To be or not. To be or not to be. To be or not to be. To be or not to be. And you should move around. To be or not to be. To be or not to be. To be or not to be. To be. To be or not to be. To be. And then you know it. You so know to be or not to be. And then your next line is that is a question. So you say it again and again. That is the question. And make sure you're saying it out loud. You're not going to memorize through osmosis just staring at the paper. So that is the question. 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 And then you say line 1 and line 2. To be or not to be. That is the question. To be or not to be. That is the question. To be or not to be. That is the question. Okay, and you keep going. Next strategy. Next strategy is to add movement. Okay, so my next line is whether 'tis nobler in the mind to stop. So in order to remember that, I am going to move. Because did you know that if you moved a lot, you're more likely to remember something? Okay, so here we go. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. Right? Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. Okay? So let's add movement. To suffer. To suffer. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. So when you're saying your lines, move. So let's see if I have everything memorized. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind. And I remember that because I was moving. So second strategy is to add movement. Next strategy is to go, number 3, is to go section by section. Hi-ya, hi-ya, okay? So that means that you divide your script up into different sections. And you'll memorize the first part first, okay, section 1, and then section 2, and then section 3. So instead of having a whole OMG speech, whoa, it is so long, too much. Can we talk about too much? You're going to just kind of like, with your, like, you can highlight it. You can make it different colors. You know, like this is my section 1, this is my section 2, this is my section 3. And you're going to go ahead, you're going to memorize it in parts. So you're not going crazy. Okay? So that could be like day 1, I'm going to memorize this section, this page. Day 2, I'm going to memorize this page. Day 3, I'm going to memorize this page. Sort of like that. Okay? Fourth memorization strategy I'm going to talk about, and I stole this all from some girl on the internet, but her video is not available anymore, so I have to make it again. Fourth memorization strategy is to go first part first, last part last. Okay? So that means I would memorize, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis noble in the mind to suffer, the things and else. I'm not going to worry about the middle of the speech. Okay? I got the beginning of the speech. Right? So I'm going to memorize the end next. And lose the name of action. And lose the name of action. So that is the ending. That is the ending. So I know the beginning, to be or not to be, that is the question. And I know the end, and lose the name of action. And I will worry about the middle later as I go. Okay? So in order to remember the 4 memorization strategy techniques, we're going to add movement. Okay? because I feel like add movement is the one you guys are the least likely to do. So everyone get up, and you're going to film yourself doing this. Yes, you are. It's an assignment. Okay? Film yourself doing it. Okay, so everyone do this. Hold your hands up. Okay, repeat after me. One line at a time. Okay, now you do it. One line at a time. Okay? One line at a time. And then like this. Add movement! Yeah, I want you to do that. Add movement! And then we're going to do first part, or one line at a time. One line at a time. Add movement! Okay? Fourth way. Section by section. Repeat after me. Section by section. And you can kind of like walk when you do it. Okay, ready? You're going to walk, like take a step. Section by section. Section by section. Section by section. Oh yeah, section by section. Okay, here we go. Let's start again. One line at a time. Add movement. Section by section. And then last part. First part first. Last part last. Yeah, like that. First part first. Last part last. Do it again. First part first. Last part last. Okay, let's everyone repeat after me. What are the 4 memorization techniques? And I'm sure there are other out there. Drama teachers, leave your comments in the chat. Let me know the other memorization techniques. Here we go. One line at a time. Add movement. You don't know how I do that? Like this. One line at a time. Add movement. Section by section. First part first. Last part last. Those are the memorization techniques. Whew, I'm out of breath. Always have water when you're doing drama. Nearby. Have your water. I'm demonstrating self-care. Okay, let's start again. Here we go. You ready? Okay, here we go. Drama students, this is what you got to film for your seesaw. Okay, you ready? You're going to say, here are the 4 memorization techniques. One line at a time. Add movement. Section by section. First part first. Last part last. Okay, I hope that was good. And then I want you to practice those memorization techniques. And scene.